Hi everyone, welcome to the Culinary Classroom. I am Michelle Bisbee, Culinary Specialist with the National School Lunch Program. In this video here, we're going to make some buffalo chicken wraps. Buffalo chicken wraps are a great grab-and-go option. They travel well. You can easily use your USDA chicken strips or any overabundance of chicken you have on hand. If you have a lot of leftover roasted chicken, you can shred it up. If you have chicken patties that you need to get rid of, chicken nuggets, they can be chopped up. You can literally use any kind of chicken in this recipe. And of course, if you're making a buffalo chicken wrap, you can buy a pre-made buffalo sauce or you could actually make your own. So to start off, I'm going to show you how simple it is to make a buffalo sauce. To make a buffalo sauce, you need hot sauce, butter, and then I add onion, garlic, and a little bit of cayenne just to give it a little bit of kick. This can be left out, especially depending on the age group that you are serving. So the first step to this is putting your butter and your hot sauce in a pot. All you are doing here is melting the butter down and continuously mixing the sauce together so that it emulsifies. If you don't have time to stand over the pot mixing, that is perfectly fine. You can use an immersion blender or even put it into a regular blender if you're making a small amount. Just be sure if you use a regular blender to vent the lid. I have personally had experience of having it explode, so letting it cool down or venting the lid will help prevent this from happening. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my pot right on the stove and turn this on and put it up to about medium heat because I don't want to burn that butter. All right, so as our butter is melting, we want to make sure we stir this around in the pot. And if you add more butter, it'll mellow the flavor quite a bit, and you'll have a smoother, creamier buffalo sauce. Or if you like it with a little bit more spice and kick from the hot sauce, you can add just a little bit less butter. All right, now that we're completely melted, I'm going to go ahead and remove this from the stove. And I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to add, and I do this by sight for this particular sauce. A lot of it's on personal taste or what your students enjoy. But I'm going to add a decent amount of garlic. A good amount of onion powder, because that really comes through nicely. And then I add just a dash of cayenne. And then I sit here and mix it up very vigorously. Once you determine the ratio of spices that your kids enjoy the best, I highly recommend recording it on a recipe. That way you have a nice standard to go by every time you make it. And of course, when making your own sauce, you want to be sure to taste it as you go to make sure you're getting the flavor that you want. That's really good. So the next thing you do is toss this on your chicken and begin making your wraps. So now that you know how to make your own buffalo sauce, you have a wonderful homemade buffalo chicken here, mixed up, ready to go. And we can start assembling our buffalo chicken wraps. Buffalo chicken wraps are really easy to assemble. The key thing here is making sure that all your ingredients are ready to go before you begin. You can see I have my sliced tomatoes, my lettuce cut up, and I have my cheese slices cut in half so that they fit onto that wrap a little bit better. So step one is taking your wraps and laying them out so they're ready to be filled. This is a 10-inch whole grain wrap, so it will give you a 2-ounce meat alternate. So when you're assembling your wraps, I like to put down the lettuce first, and I'll go through and put the lettuce on each wrap, rather than jumping back and forth from ingredient to ingredient. If you are using the vegetable in this wrap to credit, you'll want to make sure that you put an even amount on each one. If not, it really doesn't matter as much. I then go in with my tomatoes. If you need them to fit in the wrap a little bit better, you can always half these as well, but I'm putting 2 slices per wrap. And next I'm going to go in with my cheese. Me personally, I really love cheese, and I'm going to put a full slice or 2 halves on each wrap. the next step right here is adding your chicken to the wrap. Because this can get messy, you might need to use your hands to put that on there. I definitely suggest doing this last. That way you don't end up touching a whole bunch of stuff and don't potentially have to go through half a box of gloves while assembling. But you definitely want 1/4 cup per wrap. That will give you 2 ounces of meat. So I have a 4-ounce spoodle here because it's what I have available in this kitchen, and I'm just filling it about halfway. This one looks a little bit shy, so I'm going to go ahead and add another piece. And now as you can see, this glove has gotten a little messy, so I'm going to go ahead and take this off and throw it away. Another optional item that you can add into this, if your kids choose, is ranch dressing. Very popular with buffalo chicken. Sometimes with the older kids, you do get requests for blue cheese. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to 2 of the wraps, just so we have choices here. Just drizzle just a little bit of it on there just for some flavor. All right, I'm going to get a new glove. Because next is closing the wraps up. Now this can be a little bit tricky with whole grain wraps if they're not soft enough. One thing I recommend is if you find them breaking a lot, is just to warm them slightly. You don't want to over warm them because then once they cool they can become hard. But if they're slightly warm, they tend to bend a little bit better. When I fold wraps, I like to fold in my sides first. It helps to hold everything in. And then I come up over it and I tuck it in and wrap it up. And you can go right down your line here. You tuck everything right in there and you have a great little pouch for a student to grab and go with. So now you can wrap these in plastic, deliver them to the classroom, send them home for the multi-day delivery if that's what you're doing, and let the students enjoy.